It's time for the transfer window, my friends. I had a nice, easy episode planned out for you. So I'm going to walk through my plan, show you some nice transfers, do some cool things. But we have an emergency situation, and I'm not doing another episode until I get some comments with some help and your thoughts. Let's roll the intro. Welcome back in, my friends. It's episode 13. The United States continues to be undefeated in the World Cup. Womp, womp, womp. Okay. So here's what I had set up to show you. You know, when you're planning for Champions League, right, theoretically, you've got qualification, like preliminary games. We don't really have to worry about the cup games, right, from our normal schedule, because that is all wrapped up in preseason. So you knock that out in preseason, you have one like second round cup game later in like August, and then that's fine. So you don't have a bunch of cups in Sweden that you're like, okay, I'm juggling. Okay, now throw the Champions League in, and you're juggling all that. But you want to make sure you've got enough players in your squad to rotate. And that's why I was telling you at the end of last episode, some of those people that were out on loan last season would probably not go out on loan this season, at least not as many of them, depending on, you know, what youth intake looked like and what bringing in, you know, some transfers looked like. So this is what the Champions League rules are. Obviously, you got to have 2 goalkeepers. We always do that. You have to have 4 players trained by the club for 3 years between 15th and 21st birthday. So homegrown club, HGC, the blue tag, I think it's the dark blue tag, and then 8 players homegrown nation, okay? And then a max of 25 players. So the 8 players homegrown nation is 1 less than Sweden requires. So we're fine there. And as long as 4 of those players are from our club, that's okay. So I was doing some calculating and stuff like that, and I'll show that to you. But, my friends, the outgoing president, he said he wants to relinquish control and let another board member run it, has accepted an offer for Chiesa that I'm torn about. Like, I'm upset, right? Like, I'm not happy. I'm not a happy camper. But I maybe kind of understand a little bit. So let's take a look at it. And this is what I need your help on. Like, this is like emergency situation. That's why this episode's coming out on Saturday rather than on Sunday. I'm not going to put an episode out on Sunday. I've got family in town. I want to show you this and then take the weekend to get comments so that Sunday night I can record Monday's episode for you. So that's my thinking here. So let's look at this. Malmo in our division has made a 5.5 million euro offer, non-negotiable. So I had no opportunity to say no thanks. It actually is going to rise to 8.5 million, right? So 5.5 up front, another, so that's what, 6.7 in it total in a year. And then if stuff happens, so like really it's a 6.7 million euro offer, and then some potential profit if they sell him. I mean, he's got 6 caps. You know, he could theoretically get 10 appearances in international, and that would bump it up quite nicely. But I mean, he's quite good. Quite good. Congrats, FM18. You got him back to being the correct image. Like, he's not a vampire version of that guy where the skin color's wrong. But just look at last season. I mean, we got him on free, so this is a heck of a profit. So, and that's the part that I'm struggling with. But 9 starts, 16 subs, 17 goals, my friend. That's 23 total appearances. So like that's still almost 1 in every game, like per 90. Maybe we could look that up. I know somebody said that's on like the team stats page. Is it even going to show it for this season, though? And I don't wear this. That's not going to show. Of course. Why would you be able to look at last season? That would make too much sense. And it doesn't have the number of minutes on his actual. But any way you cut it, right? 17 goals, even if it was 23 starts, is really good on a 7.53. It's 6 substitute appearances on a 6.44 in international. So he's a fringe player for Senegal right now. Like, I had him pegged as Vuković's replacement. We've got him on 900 a week until 2035. Right? Like, that's massive. Now, was I going to bump him up to rotation? Yes. Was I going to play him more this season? Yes. but he's the third best striker we've got. Vukojevic by far, right? 11K a week, 4.1 million. But he's going to start falling off. And he's 28. Like, I was planning on maybe at the end of the season selling him despite him being a key player and using and giving Chiesa the keys to the kingdom. He relishes big matches. He's a leading player. Yada, yada. I'm like, and we're selling him to somebody in our division. Like, the only thing against him is he's lighthearted. But he's got 15 determination, and that's dropped, apparently, from 16. I don't know why. And I was training, I just started his training on Complete 4, because when you really look at it, you know, teamwork, maybe not so much, vision, not so much, but everything else, he's got the attributes. He needs to work on his passing and long shots, but like, he has to work on his passing and all that for an advance forward, right? Like, and he's got the other good physical attributes to be that complete forward. Like, when I was doing all my planning, and I don't do too much, like, I'm not sitting here with a spreadsheet or like a ream of paper and I've done all this calculations, but what I've been doing in my head is go like, okay, we got Champions League, don't send as many people out on loan. Last season, essentially, we had Boris, Vukojevic, Miettinen, Chiesa, and occasionally we used the Lapalainen, but we really just had 3 strikers, and I was like, we probably need 4.5. You know, one of those youth players that, you know, kind of goes in and out in the squad, plays in, again, cup games doesn't matter, but like plays in some of the U21 games. We use him in a pinch when we're tired and stuff like that. But I was long term, I was like, Kiesa's our guy. And he's so cheap, right? Like, even if you got 8 million for him right now, to sign someone to replace, let's just go at Miettinen, right? You're looking at 4K a week. Probably 5K would be my guess. That right there, oh, that's 260. Okay, so maybe not including the transfer fee, but it digs into the profit, but not as much. But it's just, I don't know what to do. Because to be fair, right, if we got 8 million, that's more than doubling. Like, the 5.5 million is almost doubling us. If you count going to 6.7 in a year, that's essentially doubling the overall cash balance that the club has. So you kind of go like, I get it. But like, do we really need the money? Like, we're going on a Champions League run and we need players for that Champions League run. And Esland, while he can play striker, is our starting attacking midfielder. We have a backup, but like, these are definitely our top 3. So I'd like your thoughts on that. You can do it now, or if you want to wait until the end of the episode when I show you the rest of the transfers, because I'm sure you're like, who's Marcos Roberto? That's fine, but I seriously would like your thoughts, because I'm like, I can see both sides. I can see why the board was like, lads, it's 6.7 guaranteed, plus a sell-on fee, and he could get some international experience, and we'd be sitting on 8 million euros, and that's, you know, more than we have in the bank right now. Like, I get that. But he's so good. He's so good. And his contract, is 900 a week. He's so cheap. I should have re-signed him and put like a 20 million, you know, minimum release clause in it or something like that. But I didn't. So could we replace him? Maybe. Can we go in the transfer market and find somebody? Maybe. But I'd like your thoughts. Let me show you the rest of the transfers. That's 8 minutes on Chiesa. I understand that's a long time, and some of you may have clicked off, but I think it's understandable, because I'm like, I'm just torn. All right, so we got Curtis Hall back on loan. He initially said no, but it was because he hadn't gone back to Arsenal, and then he went back to Arsenal, and they re-loan listed him, and I was like, hey, we'll take him. This time we put him on a rotation contract, because he did quite well for himself last season, my friends. You know, he had 3 starts, 3 subs on a 7.35 with 2 assists. I don't think you can ask for much more for a €0 a week player worth 575K. He's a solid rotational option for us. He's improving. It's like, this is a good deal for everyone involved. He's going to experience that he's not going to get at Arsenal. Arsenal is getting to develop a player, and we're getting somebody for free that is of good quality, that we can build up and also use in a variety of ways. Primarily in the central midfield support role or the box-to-box role, despite his finishing. We just tell him, just don't worry about the finishing, mate. So we got him back. We have signed Svetan Krastev from FC Twente as our new starting left back. I feel bad for Samadi, but he was low determination and he got injured, and he seems to have a problem with injuries. So we paid 1.2 million for Svetan Krastev. I can't remember if I added anything to it. It's a bargain, right? I mean, to be fair, they're breaking even, right? They loaned him out for 625. They paid 2.2. They're making 25 grand in profit. So it's a good deal for them. Samadi was Iranian, so in terms of homegrown player, that doesn't really hurt us. He's Bulgarian, right? So you're essentially taking one non-homegrown and replacing it with another non-homegrown. He's the same age, or maybe a year older. I can't remember. Probably a year older because his birthday's coming up. But I'm not saying, like, he's definitely not Reza Yalali on the other side, but he's not bad, right? He's super fit, really good physicals, fairly good determination, good decisions. Like, we need to work on his marking and his passing and his dribbling, some of the technical skills for a 24-year-old, but he's better than Samadi, and he's got more potential than Samadi, and he doesn't have the thing where it says is injury prone. So he's worth a little bit more than we paid for him. We're paying 6.5. We're paying Samadi like 5.25 or 5.5, something like that. I think we'll have to go look. So we're paying a little bit more, but we've got more than enough room in the wage budget, right? We've got 80 grand in the wage budget. So that's not a problem. It was more finding the right player. We got him on a deal until 2035. I'm quite happy with him. Working on his wing back, working on passing. We just need to give him games, give him time to develop. I really struggled to find a left back, to be honest with you. So let's go look. Samadi, we have loaned him out to União Deliria. Yeah, for 5K a month loan fee. So we're making a little bit of money. We're getting like 60 grand off of him, roughly. 5.5K. So they're paying his wages, right? Yes. And if they don't use him, I've started doing this. If they don't use him, they pay more. So from 60 to 120 grand, but he's on a first team contract, so you'd think they would use him. They have financial incentive to use him, I should say. It's just the 5 determination, low determination, can't jump. Technical is not very good, and might have a problem with injuries, and the low determination. So it was more of a, I didn't want to just sell him, but it's like, well, we'll let his contract run out. We'll make a little bit of money and kind of see what next season looks like, but most likely sell him. Maybe, yeah, probably gonna happen. All right, so let's go back to the ends. Marcos Roberto on a free, Brazilian hot prospect, 18. So this is where I struggle. Okay, I want to show you Roberto, and I want to show you Lapalainen and Chiesa. Okay, we already looked at Chiesa, but look at this guy, right? So we have him working on complete forward because, again, he needs to work on the technicals, but everything else is pretty good. His technique's really good. He's got better vision than Chiesa does. Long shots, not so much, but like for an 18-year-old that we got on a free, my friends, on a free. We brought him in on trial, and I was like, he looks pretty good. And then he left, and I was like, boom, 300 a week until 2036. So could this be our third striker? Could he take Chiesa's place? You know, we've only started him once, 2 subs on a 6-7-3. Hasn't been amazing, but he literally just got here. If you look at the striking, he is the next one behind Chiesa, besides Esland, who's never going to play there. So very technical, could improve a lot in the future. So I'm kind of thinking like, okay, he could improve a lot in the future. We give him enough game time. You know, he's that guy that when we have a Champions League game in the same week, he could come in and start, even though he's on a hot prospect contract. You know, like, what do you think there? Lapalainen, he's definitely more of a poacher, right? Like, his technicals have some red, right? Vision's not great. But I think he's punching above his weight. I mean, last season he had 5 starts, 5 subs, 5 goals, 7.53 rating. I don't think you can argue with that. So, like, he's not amazing, but he's gone up to 2.5 stars. His potential has risen to 3 or 4 stars. He's definitely like a 4th option. So I'm planning on keeping him running. He's 120 a week. Bargain. Needs to work on his concentration, but I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are your 5 strikers we have at the club. Can we afford to lose Keita in a Champions League season? And if so, is the value worth it? Should I protest? Now, I may protest and they say, like, deal with it. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that. I'm still on 1.6K a week. Other managers in this league are from like 2.1 to 2.8, something like that. I had to ask them for a new contract, and they wanted to offer me 1.9, which I think is honestly insulting. We got you to the Champions League. You're about to make bank in the Champions League. We won the title for the first time in a long time. The team loves me. I'm a great manager. You're going to give me a 300 a week raise? Really? Really? And so I was like, I bumped up, like, if we get relegated, you can cut my pay from 35% to 50%, because obviously deuces, right? And then I bumped it up to like 2.7, and they're like, no. And they came up to like 2.1. And so then I tried a bunch of different things, like 2.4 or 2.1 with like a 5% pay rise a year, because they wanted to lock me down for 3 years. That was the other thing. If it was like a 1-year extension and you want to give me a €400 a week, raise and see how we do in the Champions League, and then say, okay, now we're going to give you a big contract, I've been okay with that. But they wanted to lock me in for 3 years on a 300 a week raise, and that's it. And I think I treat my journeyman, you guys know this, as if it were me. And I was kind of like, really? Like, are you serious? You're serious? Okay. And I went back and asked for whatever more, and then I think the final straw was I threw in the raise at the lower, like the 2.1K with the raise, and they were like, no, and it went red, and we can't negotiate. So I'm currently on contract through the end of the year. So maybe the club needs the money. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. You'd think you'd get, 300 on 1.6K is less than, what, 10% would be 160. It's less than 20%. And it's like, if you compare it to the other coaches, right? Like the other teams that did well last season, like your Elfsborg, right? He's on 3.4K. And he's not as good as me from a stat standpoint, like, come on, boys, give me a break. So I don't know how that's going to turn out. I think it's kind of interesting. All right, so back to the transfers. Let me know what you think about that. Like, did I ask for too much? I'm not asking for you to double my wages, but I'm just saying, like, I think I'm a little underutilized here, or underpaid. I'm not utilized. I'm definitely underpaid. Okay, and we picked up a player from NK Maribor. So Cultured Left Foot, if you know him from YouTube, would love this signing, since he did like 150 episodes or something like that with NK Maribor. Mitja Gerenser. So we've purchased him and loaned him right back. Okay, so we paid 200 grand for him. We've loaned him right back as part of the deal. We're paying his wages. That's fine. Like, whatever, but it's a first team contract. Here's my thinking here. Okay, it doesn't have, like, he's the best center back we have. According to the ratings, he's the best center back we have. Now, I probably should load the NK Maribor League, but he's only loaned until the summer when the Champions League kicks in. That's when their season ends. The Champions League kicks in. He's going to come back, and then we can play him in the Champions League, or like he could start in the league. That's my thinking, is we're timing that. He's 19. He's 19, people. Amazing 2-year deal, or 3-year deal, I should say. But it was like, we'll buy him, we'll give you 200 grand, because I think he wanted to leave or something like that. We'll loan him right back to you, so he's not going anywhere. We're just giving you the 200 grand. We'll pay his wages, and then he's going to come in and start. So we'll have to figure out what that means for our current starters. But he's the best center back we have at the squad. We just have him loaned out until we can sort things out, and we can get to the summer transfer window, kind of sort things out with the squad, and then plan for the Champions League. He'll be back once that time of year is here. I think he's really good. Oh, I was so excited. 6'4". He's massive. Oh, he's 19. Only problem is he's not Swedish, which is a problem. We've loaned out not a bunch, but some youngsters. Like if you go back and look at last season, we loaned out a bunch of players. I think we came in here or something like that, but we loaned out a bunch of players last season. Not as much so far this season. Just getting some guys some playing time that either weren't very good or weren't going to make it. And then because we picked up that center back, I loaned Zafer out, and we had enough options, right? It's not going to show you, but we got Charles, we've got Thomas that we picked up, the other 19-year-old Swedish player. We have enough players. His contract is coming up. They are paying his full value plus 3K/6K. I think it's a great financial deal for us. We're not going to sell him. His contract's going to run out. The club that loaned him last season didn't want to pick him up, so because we gave him that option on the loan. Samadi, we already showed you. Tahari is on loan at Trelleborgs, which is in the Super Ed and below. It's just trying to keep him with playing time. He's 22, he needs more playing time, so that's why he's gone out. I don't know if you can hear the thunderstorm above me. Sorry if that's coming through. And because now I don't know what to do. Like it says he's surplus to requirements. Like he wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be, but I loaned Leifson out because I wasn't planning on Chiesa not being here. Do I recall him? That's another thing to consider. I think he would be below Roberto, but I mean he's not bad, right? Again, if you do it as a poacher and as a advanced forward, like he needs to develop a little bit. That's why we loaned him out. I don't know why it says it's surplus to requirements. I think he could do a job. You know, I'm kind of torn, right? So that's another thing that plays into this. Do we just straight recall him, or does he not have the, you know, like, if he's 22, is he too old to save, you know? Left back sent out. Okay, so that's the 75K in and 100 or 100. If I could speak, it'd be great. 1.4 million in, 75K coming in, like to replace it. Right, and that's from loan fees. It's not from actually selling anybody. So that's what we're dealing with, my friends. I'd really like your comments on what to do, because currently this is how we are set up, right? Luis, Yalali, Tobias, and Kasalainen, Krastev, Ing, Hassan, Kastrati, Eslin, Vukojevic, Mietinen, and their backups are Bredden, Johansson, Rundstrom, Charles, because he could play midfield or center back. Oh, it's starting to flicker, making me nervous. Dennis Matson, John Eriksson, who needs more playing time, and Chiesa. But if he disappears, are we going to be good with, where'd he go? Roberto being his replacement, Lapalainen being his replacement? Do we recall Leifson? I'm torn. I need your help. Let me know in the comments. I'm so gutted. At least oh no, the games aren't spaced out. Nope, sure not. I was saying at least the games aren't going to be because of the Euros. Nope, there's still going to be, you know, we're going to take the entire month of June off. So that plays in having the ability to rotate players every 3, 4, 7, 3, 4, 7, 7, 7, 3, 4. You know, like those types of, you got to have more players available to throw into the matches, especially considering you have to have 9 homegrown nation players. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to pause the editing here. 1, because I think this is a good place to stop. And 2, because I'm afraid the power's going to go out and I'm going to lose my recording. So we'll see you next time. Check out the stuff over here. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. Help me out. Help me, friends. You're my board of advisors. We'll see you then. Have a good one. Again, it'll be Monday, not tomorrow that we see you.